Hello, chats. Good evening. Good evening today. Hello. Hi, hi. Okay, we're gonna get right back into things. But first things first, gotta check the daily Pokemon for Platinum. See if there's anything here I might actually like. Or stuff that I don't have before. Oh. Okay, Tropius is in that area. But I already have Tropius, so... Yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna stick with the, Whooper Quagsire thing. Alright, let's go ahead and, And also today, I have 3 videos lined up from Absol Blogs Pokemon. Last time, we watched his Safari Week video, and there was a reference in there. A reference in that video. Oh, oops. To his, Wonder Trade videos. So I'm going to go ahead and watch those today to fill out time. And also to fill in the dead air on stream. Tired. I am the eepy. There we go. I got stuck in the mud in this game. Alright, let's go ahead and get this video started. You know, no time to delay. It's time to start hunting. Well, actually, first things first, let's explain the rules. This is Safari Week. An event for Pokemon, those in the Pokemon community, where for an entire week, plus some, give or take, you shiny hunt in the Safari Zone. And the Safari Zone is special because the Pokemon that you can encounter there can run away from you. So it's not guaranteed that if you find a shiny, you'll be able to keep it. So that's the main draw of shiny hunting there. And now, without further ado, let's watch something completely different with a Wonder Trade Gauntlet. And I'll let Absol explain what that is.
Wonder Trade. Perhaps one of the most fun and chaotic ways to trade Pokemon ever conceived. A feature where you send out a random Pokemon into the world and instantly receive a random Pokemon in return. With no negotiations, no having to write down friend codes, and no painful trips to the GTS necessary. Countless of my summer nights in 2015 were spent wonder trading with friends in Skype calls, and these fun nights with friends led me to a pretty ambitious idea. Completing the entire national dex in Pokemon Y using only Wonder Trade Pokemon, making exceptions only to evolve and breed. In August of 2015, I restarted my Pokemon Y to see if I could make that dream a reality. So, without telling anyone outside that friend group about my experiment, I did over 1,000 Wonder Trades, documenting what I got in a spreadsheet. Things started out going pretty well. But over time, the project became an unorganized mess, with not nearly enough interesting footage. With over 1,800 trades done, and 500 Pokemon in my Pokédex, I put the project on hold indefinitely.
Fire Red is going to be either
Until this
Teeny
year,
or Dragonair.
2021,
Mostly Dragonair
where I'm going
for
to
the
go at
clouds.
this again and do it better than
Platinum, it's gonna
2015
be
me could have
Wooper
ever
and Quagsire,
imagined.
since I don't think
Things
I
have changed a
those
lot
shinies
since
yet.
then. Like,
And in Soul Silver,
I used to
it's
get
gonna be
haircuts
Sentret,
regularly, and I have a
Furret,
3DS
or
capture
Campus
card
I haven't
now.
encountered
And I stream
a single
regularly,
one of
and I have a
those yet,
whole
though. I think I
community
need
of
to
people
change
behind me
locations in my
that can
game.
support me working towards this goal, instead of going at it alone. More so than ever, this year, this really feels doable. So much so, that I'm not going to even do any evolving or breeding this time. Every single Pokemon that I receive from my
There we go,
Pokedex, all 721, will be received through Wonder Trade. So this is gonna be the ultimate run back. And this is the video that'll tell the story of it all.
There's Kangaskhan.
But that's not the only story being told today. Along the way, through Wonder Trade only, we're also going to accomplish this.
Level 100. The pinnacle of power for a Pokemon. Very few Pokemon ever reach this level. This is a series of videos in which I push Pokemon's levels to the absolute limit by raising them to 100 in unconventional ways and environments. Because, more or less, I'm crazy. This is the Level 100 Gauntlet. I hope you enjoy.
I'm sorry if my hands are getting in the way of most of the game.
So now I
don't
guess I
have
need
one
to
of
address
those,
the elephant in the
fancy
room.
controllers.
How
can
am
control
I
the game
going to
remotely
train a Pokemon to level
on,
100 with
DS
just
and
trades?
3DS?
Let's translate what that Fampy just said. So in the 6th gen games, X, Y, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire, there's a special point system known as Pokemiles that the game quietly keeps track of in the background. And these Pokemiles can either be redeemed in the Lumiose City Pokemon Center or in Marvel City for various prizes. One of them being the item that's a staple of so many of these Gauntlet videos, the rare candy that boosts a Pokemon's level. You earn these Pokemiles either by walking 1,000 steps in-game or interacting with someone online. In this case, trading.
It looks
The further
shiny,
away
kind
geographically your
of,
trade
at this
partner
angle, but
is,
it's not.
the more Pokemiles you get for the trade.
Oh, I so hope we
So,
don't
as
miss
I
a
attempt to
shiny
complete the
Kangaskhan. That
Pokedex,
would
I'll be passively gaining these
destroy
miles
me
and working
mentally.
towards the golden number, 49,500, which is enough to purchase 99 rare candies to raise a Pokemon to level 100. So now I guess let's start a new file on Pokemon Y,
And also it's
let's
subtle
really
shiny,
begin.
So that's another thing that makes me scared.
Greatest Route 1 of all time.
Dratini, not shiny.
There is one unavoidable dex entry that I have to get without Wonder
Yeah.
Trade, and that's my starter Pokemon.
I
So
mean,
I picked
technically two,
Fennekin,
because you can only.
and I named it Miles,
trade
after a certain
once you
fictional
have at least
fox
two
that
Pokemon
it took
in
me
your
over
party.
a decade to realize was named after a miles per hour pun, since, you know, we're going to be collecting a lot of Pokemiles. I don't think this unavoidable dex entry will ruin the challenge in any way, because I'm certain we'll receive quite a few Fennekin over the course of these trades. After receiving my starter, I could have started Wonder Trading right then and there, but I decided I wanted to play through up to Lumiose City, where the actual Pokemile Redemption shop is first, which requires us to go through these areas and get our first badge. So I'm going to play up to that point, using only this Fennekin and not catching any other Pokemon or evolving it, in order to keep our Pokedex as pristine as possible. And I might as well go out and do that on a walk in the great outdoors.
On a walk.
But
Yeah, he
playing
touches
on
grass
this
a
walk
lot.
was an unexpected extra
He's
gameplay
like
challenge.
probably the only gamer that I know.
Okay, so I forgot how hard it is to see the game outside in
constantly
the
just
sun
touching
on an
grass.
incredibly clear day. So I'm in Santaloon Forest, totally lost. I'm actually out here pulling up a map of the area on my phone. Nature sure is beautiful. Plain and simple, the game was just too hard to see, so I did the rest of the prep back at home. In almost no time, I was fighting Viola, and I knew there was one thing I had to say. And shortly after, I arrived at my destination, Lumiose City, where I would reside next to the Pokemile Redemption guy until this challenge was complete. We got one Pokemile so far. So everyone knows the phrase, a journey of 49,500 Pokemiles begins with a single trade. But I couldn't really illustrate the whole story if I
Nah.
just jumped into the
I was
first
thinking,
trade
maybe
here,
I should go back
because
to
there
my
were
pods
actually a
and
few
count how
more
many
months of
encounters I
prep
have.
that
No,
led up
that
to
would
this
take
moment, this very
entirely
day.
too long.
Just for fun, throughout a lot of 2020,
Like,
I'd
maybe I
occasionally
could
hatch some
find
Fiona
them out
eggs,
in a
trying to
minute
hatch
to
a
get an
shiny one through the
average,
Masuda method. And I
then
hatched over
base that off of how
900
many
before I
minutes I
finally
actually
got my
play the
shiny
game.
in December. I decided pretty early on
But
into the
nah.
hunt that I would actually keep all of these Fiona instead of releasing them,
Well, the minute that
knowing
game will
I'd
probably
one day
be
come
the
back to this
easiest.
wonder trading. So I opened up
I would
Pokemon
have
Bank
to wait
and I
until
loaded all of my PC boxes
the
on this
very
file with
end.
Fiona,
I was
planning to
sorry.
trade them out into the
When all
world.
is actually said and done.
Let's not instantly complete the gauntlet through Pokemon Bank right now, even though I could.
Shiny, not
I could have theoretically just traded one Pokemon over and over again without having to worry about doing all this, but I wanted to keep every Pokemon I got over the course of this as a keepsake, so I decided to go that extra mile. This of course also added Fione's data to the Pokedex, but I'm confident that I'll get one of my own Fione back through Wonder Trade, or someone will trade one out anyway. As an extra fun fact, the parent Fione of all of these was something that I actually got over Wonder Trade from my friend Dallas during one of those Wonder Trade nights back in 2015 on Skype. To make this all organized, I also had to prepare my stream for this. I wanted to have the best opportunity to trade with chat whenever possible, so I programmed a little chat bot to have a little countdown every time I wanted to trade, so I could perfectly sync up hitting the trade button with the chat. And I found a Pokedex tracker that a lot of speedrunners use, so I can keep perfect track of all the Pokemon I have in the dex at any time, and have that on screen for people to check out if they want to help me finish the dex. With all of this prep work complete, it was finally time to start trading, that night, April 26, 2021. So here's our first Wonder Trade. Let's see how it goes.
Run.
Absol game!
Absol game.
Was that a shiny Gabite?
I think it is, yes.
That's a shiny Meow! It's Uow! Streaming this felt incredible. It felt like I had taken a step back in time to one of those Wonder Trade Wednesday streams that I used to watch, but this time I was the one streaming it and getting all the fun Pokemon and messages. There was barely anyone else on Wonder Trade, so I was trading almost exclusively with people in the stream. And the occasional trade bot, which was really surprising to me to see that they're still operating in 6th Gen. These trade bots are actually going to be super helpful though for completing the national dex, because them and hackers are our only hope for getting some of these mythical Pokemon.
True.
Certain
Yes.
Pokemon like Volcanion were only ever legitimately distributed with these special event ribbons, which also so happened to be the only preventative measure preventing a Pokemon from being Wonder Traded in the 6th Gen games. So if a hacker were to remove these ribbons, they'd become fully tradable. So for once, shout out to the hackers. I don't know if I'd ever get mythical Pokemon like Lunatone with hands without them. Every single Pokemon that I got had its own story, and some of them even literally told stories with their names. Bergmite? Perhaps. Oh, it will. All in all, through all the funny nicknames and super obscure channel references, this was some of the most fun I had ever had streaming, and I already knew I was going to be bummed when it was all over. But thankfully, there was still plenty of Wonder Trading to do after this first night.
I swear it looks
Alright,
shiny
end of the night.
when it first
We've
pops
done
up,
200
but
trades.
it's not.
We've got 164 Pokemon in the Pokedex right now, nationally. And in terms of Pokemiles, we've got 4,734. So we have enough to buy 9 rare candies, putting us effectively at level 10. So we're about a tenth of the way there. I ended out the night tweeting out a picture of my
I've
progress,
heard that there's,
so
like,
people who wanted to
way-
help me finish the decks could maybe catch a
For,
few
like,
of those Pokemon
Gen
for next
3
time.
games, whereas you can like RNG manipulate it to get what you want when you want it.
April 28th.
And I'm
Day
half
2.
curious.
Trees
to
are
try
pretty
to
cool.
Use that method to get the shiny
And
Dragon
today
Dragon
I'm going to
there.
be streaming for this Arbor
But I'll
Week
need to find
charity
some
event
good
that's
resources
going
for
on.
that and do
On stream tonight, I'm going to be
research
double hunting
into
Trevenant, which
when
is a
exactly
tree
to
in
do
hordes, while I'm
counter,
also
like,
going to be doing
Does
some
it
Wonder
count
Trades for the
after
Gauntlet.
you launch the
So this will be a
fishing
fun
rod?
time
Or do you have to have a Pokemon on
for
the
the
hook
trees. So I had a
in order
crazy
for
and
the
chaotic
encounter
stream day
to
2,
happen?
hunting for this Trevenant, Wonder Trading, and raising money for the Rainforest Trust. Thanks to the Brofessors who set up this whole event. We have Chimsy in the flesh in the building right now. We just got rickrolled. And very fitting for my Trevenant hunt and Arbor Week, I received my first trait evolution, a Phantump named Uncrustable. Thankfully,
I do
trait
wanna try
evolutions
that.
give you the dex entries for both Pokemon,
think it
so I
can be
don't have to
done.
worry about somehow collecting a Phantump with an
Maybe I'll
Everstone,
do that.
since you can't cancel trait evolutions by
do.
mashing B, and there's the unique case of Kadabra where it will always evolve even if it's holding an Everstone
Maybe
upon
I'll
trading,
try it next
probably
stream
because
or
of some
something.
magician guy. But anyway, back to the Wonder Trades, and back to the
I'll
Uncrustables.
have to, like,
The topic of
find a video about
Uncrustables
it, though,
brought up the
to
topic of
explain
peanut
it.
butter and honey, and I mentioned that I had never tried a peanut butter and honey sandwich before, and some people took offense to that. Eat PBH, Matt. This is aggressive. I'm bringing this up because this is some deep lore
like
that'll
with
be
the
important
fishing
later,
rod.
trust me.
Sometimes you don't
Another
get
milestone I
anything.
crossed off the list was actually getting one of my Fione back
So I
after
gotta
276 trades.
do
It used to
research
be a
into
very
the
common
RNG
occurrence for me to
manipulation
be able to
for
get my own
fishing,
Pokemon back.
and when it counts.
But I guess since I'm streaming now and since these Fione are kind of special, people aren't really sending them back out into the world as often. After a few more
And
quality
how to
trades and
measure
not
the
finding an Arbor
frames
Week
in
shiny
the
in the
game.
wild, I ended
that's
out
what
the
it's
night at
based on, the
322
frames.
trades and 9,000 Pokemiles, giving us 18 rare candies so far, with a national dex total of
not shiny.
230 Pokemon found.
Not shiny Dratini.
Whoa! Whoa! What? Whoa. Then it was day 3, May 2nd, which was full of eventful trades, like getting the mythical Zeraora, Niantic, aggressive sandwich propaganda, the Ultra Beast Buzzwole, and a visit from the CEO of Water that might come in handy later that night. I also occasionally would put the chat through something that I like to call an experience, where I would play some good music on loop until something happened, like someone trading me a shiny. And by far the longest experience happened this day on day 3, where I listened to the German Naruto opening on loop until a shiny was traded. I'm gonna spare y'all the entire song, but here are a lot of the German Naruto references that I got traded.
12 years ago, a nine-tailed fox suddenly appeared.
If you believe it.
Naruto, I'll be okay. Sasuke, he's really cool. Sakura, the beautiful.
So I guess that was really only 4, so that wasn't really a lot. You kind of had to be there to experience the full power of German Naruto, I guess. We seriously listened to that song at least 50 times though. Everyone loved it.
Oh dear.
But anyway, I had 290 Pokemon at the end of the night. 13,133 Pokemiles, aka 26 rare candies, putting us a fourth of the way there. And 456 Pokemon traded. But there was one more thing I did before the end of the night. I did a trade that wasn't a wonder trade. I wanted to show everyone the current state of the GTS, how it was an absolute mess and full of hackers asking for Pokemon that you can't ever trade. And in the process, we accidentally stumbled upon this Gulpin. Please, I beg
Birth of a
you.
legend.
Chungoose Jr. Please, I beg you, trade me a Kyogre for my level 10 Gulpin. So I did it. I traded my new Kyogre away for Chungoose Jr., the legend. And don't worry, I already had Gulpin in my Pokedex anyway, so this didn't mess up the challenge or anything. Day 3 or 4 or something. I don't even remember what day it is. I have a Domino's Pizza visor here. We're listening to the Spider-Man
Not
2
shiny, it's
pizza theme
like
until I get a
think the way I'll be
Pokemon
able to
named
tell if this
Pizza.
Kangaskhan is shiny
So, go nickname some Pokemon
is
Pizza,
if the head piece
and I wish you all the best of luck.
is more green. But also the sprites are different.
Only took 7 minutes.
Like I got these from
That
the
wasn't
website.
bad.
But maybe if I look at the actual sprite for this specific game, I'll be able to tell. Let me look it up.
It was clear on day 4 that some people had done
Yeah,
their
let me
homework.
pause this and hide the window capture real quick as I go ahead and look this up. Gotta see if I can find a good sprite. I guess like looking on it from the actual website, it's more like a gray skin than a brown skin, but I can't really tell from this website. Like where's the Soul Silver sprite? I don't think I'm gonna find it. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it. Oh well. Back to the video.
and were determined to give me some very hard to get otherwise dex entries. I was getting legendaries left and right. Dr. Mario!
Okay, the song kind of goes hard.
At this point, I was only a couple streams away from running out of my 27 boxes of Fione. So I knew I needed to breed something new, since I didn't want to hatch any more Fione since I already had the shiny. So to find something unique that was worth trading, I had to take a step back a generation, to Black 2, where my primary objective was to hatch Deerling. More specifically, Deerling not in the spring form, since in the 6th generation of games, the only Deerling or Sawsbuck that naturally appears in the wild is the spring form, and there's no way to change the form after you capture it since seasons don't exist within that generation of games. Making it so the summer, autumn, and winter Deerling are basically transfer exclusive. If you do manage to transfer one up to 6th gen, you can actually breed it to have it keep its seasonal form, but I didn't know that yet. So I was just breeding them in 5th gen, but I don't really mind because it was a nice nostalgia trip, especially having the daycare man scream at me whenever the eggs are ready. So whenever I found myself away from home, like going on a nice day trip to hang out with my friend Mr. Let's Play It, I was hatching Deerling eggs in Unova.
Surprised I remembered that too. Surprised I remembered.
So right now I'm at the hedges in the
forgot.
Kalos region,
Whoops.
but I'm hatching things here in
Didn't
the
mean to
Unova
throw a
region
ball at
for the
the
gauntlet.
whooper.
And I'm here with
Didn't
Mr. Let's
mean
Play. You got anything to
to do
say
that.
here?
Yeah,
Whoopsies.
Doctor, let's play it
And
here.
of
I'm
course
just
I catch 'em.
surveying this land.
Well,
making
that's a
sure
good time
it's
for
safe
if I find the shiny
community
whooper.
activities like
It'll be
shiny
easy to
hunting
catch.
and just walking through the
Whoopsies.
gardens.
I mean, the whooper.
Seems to be pretty
Didn't mean
safe
to do
so
that.
far.
I apologize for not introducing you as
The
Doctor.
water fish,
I'll get over it
as
eventually.
opposed to the land fish.
Mr. Let's Play It?
Just playing some Pokemon Rumble version.
Yeah! GX?
Yeah, we're in the GX terminal.
Hatching some Deerlings here. We have found a shiny during the IRL.
What's it gonna be? Ooh!
It is Metacham.
I'm gonna guess
Teeny.
Gutsy.
Hardy. Hardidra.
Punchy.
Punchy. With a dramatic head turn on a shiny to say goodbye, I went home that day with at least 2 boxes full of Deerling, though I still had plenty of Fione to Wonder Trade before I even got to them. And then I continued trading. I must admit, I was sometimes a little bit
Not
apprehensive
shiny.
about going
It was
live and
entertaining,
starting
I got
trading,
excited.
fearing that as my dex number went up, I would have
down.
nights where I wouldn't make any progress on the dex whatsoever, leading to some of the days that I experienced in my first attempt at this when I wasn't streaming, getting entire days of only receiving early route Pokemon like Zigzagoon and Wurmple. But stuff like that never actually happened. Because as time passed, I realized that Wonder Trade is exactly what we make it as people. It's not like you go on there and the dice just randomly gets rolled and you receive just a totally random Pokemon that appeared out of thin air. Behind every single Wonder Trade, there's a person sending out that Pokemon. And when we all unite together, sending out all sorts of crazy Pokemon, like for a Wonder Trade Wednesday, or for the kids who just got the game on Christmas, or for some weirdo to just try and complete the national dex, that's when Wonder Trade really turns into something wonderful. I'm sure there are a couple cynics out there right now typing up comments talking about how this challenge really isn't all that impressive since so many people in the chat were sending out the Pokemon that I
still
needed,
took a
and that this
while.
would have been way cooler if I attempted this alone, but I don't know if I'd ever actually finish the national dex if I went at this alone. Which is precisely one of the reasons why I stopped my first attempt at this back in the day. So while the circumstances of me completing this national dex might not be all that objectively impressive, what was created on Wonder Trade during these nights where I was streaming? A place where
it's
someone
barely
randomly
visible.
truly could obtain any Pokemon, and where people were
Barely
having a
visible
fun
scene.
time trading with not just me, but with each other, was pretty impressive. But anyway, all that sappy talk aside, after 826 trades and 2 more days of trading, We had hit 25,000 Pokemiles, or 50 rare candies. And my national dex was well over halfway done too.
No shiny, no sparkles.
Now at a lightning fast pace, I was hatching Deerling and transferring them up to my Pokemon bank, because
no
May
shiny,
17th
no
was the
shiny
day that
too.
I was going to run out
Imagine
of
the
Fione.
first shiny is actually the shiny Dragonair. Imagine if that was the case. That would be just
At this
so...
point, there were probably people who could fill up almost an entire
This
box
would be
with the
foreshadowing
Fione
then.
they had received from me. But I was still also sending out Fione to people who hadn't received anything yet. Eventually, on my 927th trade, I traded out the last one. But the Fione's legacy carried on, even leading to me receive a YouTube comment from someone who recognized the Fione was from me without actually being in the stream or knowing about the Wonder Trade challenge I was doing. For the rest of the night, it was Deerling trading time. More trade shenanigans ensued, and more legendary stories like Martin and his quest for Chespin were told. And I think this is the first time that I've actually shown my setup in this video, because I didn't think to record stock footage before this. So there's that, too. And after being visited by the great Hortensia Heracross, I hit my 1000th trade, bringing me to enough Pokemiles to buy 63 rare candies, and a Pokédex with almost as many entries as my first attempt at this back in 2015. Back when I was actually training and breeding Pokemon, and not 100% relying on trades like this time. And then the next day, another big milestone happened. I promised
not a shiny
Ratsmacker
Kangaskhan.
that if I traded with him one more time, I would actually eat the peanut butter and honey sandwich that he was harassing me to eat. And of course, I found him. I have a pretty cool gamer plate right here. Just wanted to point that out. I have cinnamon raisin bagels,
Ooh,
my
this
favorite
looks
kind
like-
of bagel.
Looks like it's sunset in
I've
my,
got
Platinum
Jif
game right now.
Extra Crunchy,
The
code
night
card.
is fast approaching. So yeah, not
This
shiny.
is the honey that I got. Carmichael's cinnamon honey. I thought cinnamon honey would be a really nice addition here. So I'm gonna squeeze this onto the other side of the bagel. And now we mash the two together like this. Boom. Check it out. Peanut butter and honey bagel sandwich.
Whoops, wrong button.
So without further
Wrong
ado,
button over in Soul Silver. Didn't mean to.
it's not bad. Scale of 1 to 10, 7 out of 10. I think I
I
was
am
being
the-
a little harsh, and
I
it's a
am
little bit better than a
depeaching
7 out of 10 to
myself
be
with
honest.
my
But anyway,
balls.
one of my favorite
My
trades was
balls.
with this guy named Matt, with the message Matt, who sent us a Pokemon named Matt. YouTube also randomly crashed that night in the middle of trying to listen to the Pepsi Man soundtrack, leading to this beautiful soundbite. I've never encountered these issues before trying to pull up music. This is crazy. Peps. That's all we heard before it crashed. Just peps. Another little milestone that happened was getting a bingo and filling out an entire row on the Pokédex tracker. And eventually, for the first time, I had to stop for the night because I was running low on Pokemon to trade, and I needed to hatch some more Deerling. Thankfully, I had just the weekend lined up to get that done.
Okay, I probably have watched this video way too many times. I don't even know what the song is from, and yet I can hum along to it. That is
The ocean.
bizarre. Kangaskhan, and it's not shiny. No sparkles. No shiny Woopa.
Oh, I saw it! I saw it! I've already got it on film.
Yeah, you got that?
Jumped again. Rad.
I saw him again.
Oh,
Yeah, he's fighting him off. Oh wait, this other male's gonna go in. He's gonna try and battle him. Oh, he's thinking about
it's
it.
the 1v2.
He's thinking about
Certainly
it.
a lot
Oh,
of not egg hatching.
That's a bad
going
idea.
on.
Dude, he's got the big claw. You can't compete with the big claw.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Everyone
Wow.
knows, dude.
Trying to lock hands.
Yeah, they are.
Trying to shake.
They just want to hold hands. What if we held hands?
Ice and
In the seagrass.
So I had a very fun beach trip with my friends, hatching a bunch of Deerling along the way. But that wasn't the only hatching opportunity I had planned that weekend. I had another opportunity based off of a life-changing song that I had just heard a few days before on stream. What's I Walk to Burger King? I'll play that. Okay. This song was a cover of Green Day's Boulevard of Broken Dreams, but the only lyrics were I walk to Burger King and then I walk back home from Burger King. So the next day, May 23rd, I set out to do just that. Today is May 22nd. I've got various things packed up, and I'm going on an adventure today.
Yes. Kangaskhan, it is not shiny, no sparkles. No shiny one bird. I feel like this middle game is gonna be the easiest to tell.
And then
Because they go from
back
blue.
home from Burger King. Walk to Burger King, and then I walk back home from Burger King.
Is that some Garfield graffiti? Some Garfetti? I like to think it's Garfield graffiti, so I could call it Garfetti.
I walk to Burger King, and then I walk back home from Burger King. Walk to Burger King, and then I walk back home from Burger King.
Well, unfortunate news.
I walk back home, and I walk back home. I walk back home, and I walk back. I burger, then I walk back home from Burger King.
Dude, there's so much
3
litter
years
here, I
ago.
even found a Filet-O-Fish box.
21, so
Who even eats
still
that?
kind of not lockdowny, but not
I burger, then I walk back home from Burger King. I walk to Burger King.
But I'm gonna attempt to loiter outside for a minute and get one Wonder Trade in on Burger King Wi-Fi. So let's see if we can do that. Unfortunately, my plans have also been foiled because it appears the Burger King Wi-Fi, I don't know if you can see this, is secured and I do not know the Wi-Fi password. So mission failed. Let's just go home and hatch some deerlings.
Get them next time.
So then, I walked back home from Burger King. I just noticed this green dot here, meaning I have someone on Street Pass. If this is just me, I'm gonna feel really stupid. I'm so stupid. So now I have some not Burger King right there. And I have 12 boxes of deer. And some Fiona that I forgot that I still needed to hatch yesterday. I'd say we're ready to do some more trading. So let's go.
Yeah. Sucks that 3DS Wonder Trade is down. Porsche. Peps. And honestly, I haven't used like the surprise trade in Scarlet and Violet a lot because it's pretty much just overrun with bots. Like it's not even worth it. You don't even trade with people. I think the only way.
Since the creation of the
Obviously, I
first
think
tier
when
list in the
Absol decides to do another
1970s
Wonder
by
Trade Gauntlet,
famed inventor
it might
James Tier
actually
List,
be real
it's been
people
scientifically
trading on
proven
the
that
servers
every
again.
streamer
I will
must
look forward
create
to
a
that.
tier list at some
I will
point during their
certainly
life.
look forward to doing that.
So I decided to fulfill this obligation while also doing some Wonder Trades on May 25th, starting with Taco Bell menu items. I hope I didn't ruin too many, I hope I didn't burn too many bridges with my opinions here, my hot takes. And of course, let me scroll up a little bit more for the full picture. S Plus is Baja Blast,
Yes,
and
of course.
it's really Baja Blast Bell. Fast food is just a bonus down here. Next up was every single Mountain Dew flavor, except it wasn't every single Mountain Dew flavor. This tier list was kind of janky. Then I ranked a bunch of different kinds of sandwiches, the new Pokemon Snap stages. Then I ranked a lot of fast food restaurants, using the most sound rationale possible. I have no idea who Marco is. This isn't a really creative pizza logo. Like, I feel like they could have like made the M out of pizza instead of just like making the M like that. Honestly, Marco, I've never had you before, but your logo kind of annoys me. You're going F tier. This tier list was also kind of jank because there were a lot of options for places that weren't fast food restaurants, and there was the fictional Krusty Krab on there for some reason. And then the final was the big one, ranking all the Pokemon games. But I know what you're all thinking.
Oh, whoops.
This is a kind of controversial list. Pokemon Project Studio Red is in F tier, and I know a lot of people are not happy about that. But I can explain. It's like a little print studio thing, which is pretty cute. Like, you get to make all sorts of fun printouts, like birthday cards and stuff. Like, it was a good idea. But the stupid thing is, they made 2 versions of it. So if you wanted to make cool birthday printouts and stuff for your friends, you had to get both copies of this random PC software, which wasn't worth it. I thought it was dumb for them to like split that up into versions of all things. So that one goes into F tier. After all that tier listing, our Pokemiles were looking awfully close. And with one final trade with someone far away, I sealed the deal. That was the final one for the Gauntlet. After 1487 trades, we have 49,514 Pokemiles, and the Gauntlet is complete. But we don't have a Pokemon to use as the subject for the Gauntlet yet. I'm going to go ahead and purchase these 99 rare candies. So we've got that. I'm going to check to see what time our file's at. It took we're at 35 hours and 57 minutes, so it took about that amount of time to get there.
No sparkles.
But we've got a long journey ahead of us still. We are at 619 Pokemon seen, so we have like 102 to go, I'd say, before we have a fully complete Pokédex. But look at this incredible spread we've got here. There's only one breedable Pokemon that I didn't get over the course of this, and that's Venonat. The rest are all like evolutions or legendaries or mythicals. We made such a good dent in the decks doing this. After stream, I noticed that I forgot to increment the counter a few times, and checking the actual in-game number of trades that it really took 1504 trades to get enough Pokemiles to reach level 100, averaging out at around 33 miles per trade. But I guess some of you may have also noticed that we still don't have a subject for this gauntlet yet, or the Pokemon that is going to actually be the one that gets trained to level 100. But that's to be decided later. We have to finish the National Dex first. With the level 100 gauntlet thrown down and stepped on and destroyed, I still needed to breed more Deerling to finish the National Dex. So on a trip back home, on various walks and hangouts with friends and family, I hatched more boxes upon boxes of Deerling.
We just got a really cool CD from the thrift store. Do you have the case, Mike? It's in the back. Okay. Oh, now we're into the diesel truck.
Making money. It was all a great time, and I was hatching a lot of Deerling. But unfortunately, something would happen to my 3DS that I wasn't prepared for. Something that prevented me from using Pokemon Bank. So today's May 31st, and I hatched an ample amount of deer over the weekend. But unfortunately, my main 3DS that I use for Pokemon Bank is having some cartridge slot issues.
Oh no.
It is not allowing the game to stay in there. There's something off with the springs in this cartridge reader. So I'm about to try and fix this so I can get in more Wonder Trades today. So I learned how to take apart my 3DS and looked into the issue, and thankfully it was a very easy fix. By pushing in a cartridge and pushing down this little metal tab right here, I was able to get the spring working again good as new. So I was then able to transfer all my Deerling off of X onto Pokemon Bank and then onto Y, the Wonder Trade file, and begin another day of trading. This time keeping all the remaining Pokemon I need on the layout at all times. So the rest of the decks slowly began to trickle in as people in the chat tried to predict which Pokemon would be the last one I would need. If you asked me at the beginning of this challenge, I would have said it would have been a mythical Pokemon, or something like Porygon 2 or Porygon Z that was a tricky trade evolution, but most of those were already crossed off. And no way, we just got Matt! With the caption Matt! And we get Matt! Matt the Clefairy. And thanks to someone named Quentin, who was doing a lot of the dirty work of hacking and removing these ribbons from mythical Pokemon, mythicals were out of the picture by the end of the day. While people were predicting though, I wasn't actually voicing my predictions myself because I knew if I did that, I would instantly make it not be the final Pokemon because people would go out of their way to start trading me that. The greatest noise. Its name is Dililili. Let's go.
Kangaskhan. I don't want them shiny, not seeing sparkles at all.
And then there were two left. The final two being Mienshao and Mandibuzz. Both 5th gen Pokemon caught in the late game that evolve at a very high level, who also happen to start with the letter M. Definitely not the final two I was expecting, but two worthy adversaries that could actually be captured in the wild pretty quickly within 5th gen, transferred up to 6th gen, and traded over easily. So no matter what it took, I was pretty confident we were going to finish that night. So confident, in fact, that I decided to put the chat through an experience playing the Night Core version of Cotton Eye Joe that I've spared you, the YouTube viewer, from hearing right now, until both of these trades were completed. Would playing a song as torturous as that cause a fight or flight response first? And soon I had my answer. What's up, Yo-Yo? Soon, Mandibuzz came over. I'm listening to Cotton Eye Joe Night Court, but you can't hear it because it's in my earbuds. We have one Pokemon remaining, Mienshao. And by recording this video and dramatically talking about it, the chat has to listen to more Cotton Eye Joe right now. Ha 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 ha. It's over! It's over!
There it is!
That is the final trade! That's it! 1831 trades, actually might be more than that. Link trades, 1834. So I was off by 3. So in-game, since we only have the Kalos decks here, and we won't have the national decks till we finish the game and we only have one badge, it only displays 457. But I could check the national decks total with Pokemon Bank on another 3DS. Just a couple days before, I had made a new Pokemon Bank account that only that Pokemon Y had interacted with, so the national decks on that Pokemon Bank would reflect accurately the exact number of Pokemon I had. 44 hours and 3 minutes, plus all the time it took me to hatch things.
No shiny
We've done
Kangaskhan,
it.
no sparkles.
Now do it again, but only count shinies. No thank you, Rai. Alright, here are all of the beautiful creatures we've received through trades so far, by the way. Look how many boxes we got. This is insane. And the empty spaces you might see are Pokemon that are level 1. That's 41 boxes right there. And those are actually sitting here. We have like all of these beautiful Pokemon right here that are candidates to be the level 1 Pokemon that wins the gauntlet. But look at this. National Dex 721. This is the only game that's ever connected to it. We have the entire
I gave
National
myself time to
Pokédex
sleep in.
registered.
Only getting out of bed at like noon. But still,
We did it.
I'm tired.
We actually did it, y'all. Oh, look at that. That's the shiny Jirachi. And this has the cool thing where like it uses the 3DS gyro to make stuff like look holographic. I love that feature. I think the Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and Sun and Moon Pokédex did that too. But that's it, y'all.
If I'm not tired at night, then
We've completed the National Pokédex using only Wonder Trade. And I definitely couldn't have done it without y'all, considering like the hoops we had to jump through to get mythicals and stuff. It's been quite the journey. It's been quite the journey. Look how many Zygardes I got. I have such a fun collection of Pokemon from y'all now. They'll always live on this extra bank profile, by the way. I made this bank profile specifically for all these Wonder Trade Pokemon. It was all happiness from there. But the story still wasn't quite over. We had to choose a Pokemon to train to level 100. Taking 141 of the nicknamed level 1 Pokemon I received over the course of this, plus Chungoose Jr., the level 10 Gulpin that I traded from the GTS earlier, I created a tournament bracket where chat would vote to decide which Pokemon would be the subject of it all. This Pokemon would also be the subject of quite the trial afterwards. Playing through the rest of the game, the other 7 badges in the Elite Four, disobedient, since it would be a level 100 traded Pokemon. It was a long and hard-fought battle, with tensions higher than any stream I had ever done before, with the bracket full of upsets. And at the end of it all, a simple Murkrow named #Murkrow reigned victorious. So I fed the Murkrow the 99 rare candies that I had earned from all the Pokemiles from the trades before, all the way until it reached level 100, the pinnacle of power for a Murkrow. And now from this point, I need to play through the rest of the game with this thing, with it being disobedient, so I can beat the game, actually get the National Pokédex, and double check to make sure that I've caught them all. But that's a story that's going to be saved for a different video.
That we're not watching
Thanks
today.
so much for watching,
'Cause we're
and
just
thanks so much
focusing
if
on the
you've
Wonder
even
Trade
just
Gauntlet.
once considered hopping on Wonder Trade and trading with me during all this. I'll see you next time. One of the
Now,
key
next
foundations of the Pokemon series is the ability for us to trade Pokemon with one another. It allows us to take our own personal adventures we've had with these games and share them with someone else, since every
No
Pokemon tells a
shiny.
story. And to
No
me, there's
shiny.
no better way to get a glimpse into hundreds, if not thousands, of other people's adventures than Wonder Trading. A random matchmaking system where you select a Pokemon to trade out and randomly receive
there is
bbannother
lag on
Pokemon in
the
return
screen.
from someone else.
Ooh, there is lag
Last
on the
year, I
screen
took
right
on the
now. Let
ambitious
me
goal
just
of obtaining all
go ahead and wait for
721
that to
Pokemon
catch
in the
up.
National Dex in Pokemon Y by
Wasn't
utilizing
expecting that
only
lag.
Wonder
Okay,
Trade.
looks like it's caught
It was
up.
an awesome way to see a community work together to accomplish something,
I was like, oh no,
and
do we
it
need
wasn't
to put a
long
lag
before
warning?
I wanted to do something
But we're
like this
good, we're
again.
good. It's
So in
fine.
November of 2021, when Brilliant Diamond and
We're
Shining
all good.
Pearl released, and I had heard that the old GTS building in Jubilife had set things to Wumbo and became the GWS
No
with
shiny,
Wonder
no
Trades,
sparkles, no shiny,
I
no
knew that it was
sparkles.
time to set out and do it again. I wanted to do it on a
Now I gotta
smaller
reset
scale this
this
time,
file.
and started with the small goal of simply obtaining all 151 Pokemon in the Sinnoh Regional Dex, so I could unlock the Pokéradar in the National Dex early. But, as you will soon see, my goals would spiral just a little bit out of
Genie?
control and become
No
far more
shiny. I
ambitious
get a
than
lot
I
of
could have ever
Genies.
imagined. My name is Matt, but you can call me Absol, and this is my second Wonder Trade Gauntlet. I hope you enjoy. Our hero
Shiny
set out on his
Hellion.
Shining Pearl journey on December 23rd, 2021, versus a formidable rival named Updates.
Updates.
Full name, Nintendo Switch Software Updates. Because prep for this was not going to be easy without a couple proper updates to the game. The first and arguably most critical update I was awaiting was access to the GWS itself, which was blocked off to the player at launch, which kept me wondering how Wonder Trade would even work in this game. So I kind of had to wing it with my early preparations and
Yeah,
hope that the setup
why
that I
was
was
that not
doing was
available day
close
one?
enough to being what
Let's
I needed.
just
And my
swap it
setup would be the same as I did last time on the 3DS, filling up all my
Kangaskhan, no
boxes with
shiny,
Fione
no
to Wonder Trade
sparkles.
out, because receiving a mythical Pokemon is a little bit cooler than a Starly or Shinx. Ideally, I wanted to do this as early in the game as possible, but that leads me to the second update that was making preparing for this a little bit more difficult. The game was not yet compatible with Pokemon Home, meaning I couldn't simply transfer in boxes upon boxes of hatched Pokemon from another file like I did last time, and instead I would have to play up past the first two badges so I could hatch them myself. Very conveniently, there was a Manaphy Wi-Fi event going on, so obtaining the Manaphy that I would need to make these Fione was no issue, and neither was the gameplay leading up to this point by any means whatsoever. In order to get Fione eggs, you need a Ditto, so I caught a little horse and traded it with another
Horse.
file. Then I traded my starter Turtwig for a Pokemon with Flame Body or Magma Armor to speed up the egg hatching process. And then I started hatching Fione eggs. And then over the course of 3 months, I only hatched like 2 boxes because I was playing Legends Arceus. But maybe this procrastination worked out in my favor, because in March, when the 1.3.0 update dropped, many of my plans would be shaken up with a sudden thud. I'm getting a bad feeling right now. That night, the 1.3.0 update dropped, that added the GWS and Wonder Trading, and I would learn that what I wanted to do may not be entirely possible the way that I imagined it. Well, I just learned something that puts a wrench in my current plans. You can't trade this Pokemon in Wonder Trade because this Pokemon is special. Can you even trade legendaries? You can't even trade legendaries.
That's so not
Because
fun.
the game does not allow you to Wonder Trade
not
legendaries or mythicals, my boxes of
someone wants to
Fione
Wonder
were
Trade it
created
away,
for nothing.
let them Wonder
And
Trade it
instead of
away.
being able
Let
to
them
obtain
live
the
with the
entire
consequences
Sinnoh Dex
of
through
their
Wonder Trade like I
decisions.
had once envisioned, it would be the Sinnoh Dex minus legendaries, and the National Dex would take an even bigger beating from this. But I didn't want to abandon the project. And on the brighter side of things, the big globe, known as the Geonet in the original games, can now give us rare candies. which gives us the opportunity to train a Pokemon to
Level 100.
Yet again.
I'm not gonna make y'all sit through this entire intro this deep into the video. So yeah, there's a whole level 100 gauntlet aspect to this too. Now that it's out, let's walk through the process of how the GWS works. So you go to the GWS building in Jubilife, select a Pokemon to trade, and then you're presented with the globe and the option to choose from one of 630 points to create a trade from.
While we're here.
You can select any
So it's
point you
not just
want.
purely the
It doesn't have to be
video,
where you
it's
live,
on
and it won't have any
there.
sort of effect on who you Wonder Trade
But
with.
my day is basically
Once you
just
start the
been
trade, the globe will
doing
then
my
take you
dailies
to
and my
another
gacha
point someone else
games.
selected, and you'll receive a Pokemon from there.
And
And if it's your
procrastinating
first time
food,
receiving
no
something
shiny
from that
cake is
point,
gone.
that point will be marked on your personal globe. Each of the
Like,
630
I
points on the
had some
globe
food
stores up to
before
5
starting
different
stream,
memories
so
of
I'm
trades
not
you've done.
starving myself,
And the more
don't
points on the
worry.
globe that you've registered, the more rare candies you'll get as a reward, capping out at a total of 670 rare candies after you've traded with every individual point on the globe. So upon seeing that registering all 630 points on the entire globe nets you enough rare candies to train 6 Pokemon to level 100, I knew I had to do it. And since I had already set my sights that high, I might as well scale up the Dex goal too. From the Sinnoh Dex all the way up to the National Dex. Minus legendaries, because you can't Wonder Trade those. And so I went back to hatching eggs. This time of a Pokemon that I was actually allowed to Wonder Trade. My favorite Pokemon, Absol. Today's March 27th. I have 2 boxes of Absol right now, but even with just these 2, we might start things off tonight. Because tonight I'm about to do a charity stream for Gamers Outreach. And if we hit our donation goal of $500, I will start this Wonder Trade Gauntlet tonight. So let's see if that happens. And then I started the charity stream, which was just a normal shiny hunting stream where donating would let you add pictures to the layout or play song requests. Dink my oider. Only 20 minutes after starting, it was locked in that I was going to do a Wonder Trade stream that night. Fire Piplup with the $20, we've surpassed the goal! Alright, we're gonna do a Wonder Trade stream tonight now. And then I had to make up new goals. Like getting mad at $800. And Cloudfin Raptor with $500 for the kids. Cloudfin Raptor! How dare you donate $500 to charity? How dare you! Or talking in a country accent and trying a grilled cheese sandwich for the first time at $1,500. We just hit the 1,500 goal, by the way. Southern which Mountain Dew flavor do I dislike the most? Probably the gingerbread snapped, I reckon. And finally, walking to Burger King and doing Wonder Trades there over the course of this gauntlet at $2,000, as well as trying the beverage ski, which Twitch user Ski Master Nathan had been patronizing me about for every single stream for about 5 months. With this goal not quite yet reached, I started the Wonder Trade stream. We're in the GWS.
Some reason.
The GWS.
Like I have a heater
And
right
using the
next to me
chat
to
bot
try
I
to keep
created
myself
last year
warm.
so everyone in the
Alright.
chat could time their trade at the same time as me, we initiated the first trade.
But I don't know.
This stream was a bit of a test run,
no
and I
shiny
hadn't yet
cake is
formulated
coming.
my
No
strategy on
sparkles.
how I was going to trade with every point. So I just traded out all these Absol
Maybe
from my
my
home
heater's
point,
too
point
hot.
477.
Maybe it's having like the opposite effect.
Let's see how this works. The
I'll turn it
first
down
Wonder
a bit.
Trade. We're going to .69. Nice. Matt play MH. Okay, Justin. All right. Oh, we got a lantern. That's a cool one. Oh, that was Han. It only took 4 trades to realize that something fishy was going on. And I don't mean the fact that the first 4 trades were all water type. When I received this lantern from Karma, aka Han, I learned that they did not receive my Absol in return and instead got a Combi from someone else. You got a Combi? Meaning these Wonder Trades aren't synchronous one-to-one trades with another person, like the
Yeah,
trade
that's weird.
animation
Why
in-game
do they do it
suggests
like
that
that?
it is. It's as if your Pokemon goes out into a massive pool of Pokemon, and you randomly get someone else's Pokemon in return. This resulted in some interesting situations where people would receive Pokemon that were traded out multiple trades ago, and some people in my chat allegedly even traded with themselves. I personally did not see this happen, but I take their word for it, since I heard about it from multiple different people. It was really weird not knowing who
I wouldn't
exactly
put
my
it with
Absol
myself
was
once.
actually going
Like
to.
back on a 3DS
But at the end of the
era, I
day,
was
all that really
Wonder
mattered
Trading
was
in
that I
both,
was getting
my
Pokemon from
copy of
people in
X and
chat.
Y.
There's a shiny Houndoom,
There's like
hello.
an
I thought it would be a
early
lot
morning
harder
routine
for
of
me to
mine
trade with
just
chat
to
because it
Wonder
was the
Trade
most recent
before
game.
school.
But apparently
And I
that
ended up
wasn't the
trading
case.
with myself at some
Bofa.
point.
And all things considered, the
It wasn't
variety of
recorded at
Pokemon
all,
that I
so
was
it's
getting
just
was
my
way better
word.
than I thought it would be.
But you're gonna have to
With
trust
all
me
sorts
on
of
that.
interesting
It
post-game
happened.
Pokemon, and very few
It was
duplicates.
quite funny.
And I received my first Spinda, which will be an interesting subject for later. Surprisingly, it took me 43 trades to get my first Starly, which is what I thought would be the most common Pokemon I would receive over the course of this. And I don't think it was necessarily
that was
because
a
I
good
was trading
draw,
with
I
my
think.
chat, because I had given very little early warning about me doing this. Wonder Trade was just
Let's see, I was
genuinely
planning to
pretty
stream for
awesome
3 hours
within the
today,
first
but if
weeks
I
of it
keep
being out in
yawning
this
like this, I
game.
might
But what's
have to
even
end
more
it
awesome
after
is that we
this
raised the
video.
$2,000 for charity. And soon, I would walk
no
to Burger
shiny
King
Kangaskhan.
and do Wonder Trades there. At the end of the first night, I did 67 trades and I had registered 41 out of 630 points on the map. It was then
Right,
time for
one,
me to hatch
I'm
more
tired.
Absol and prepare for the next stream.
And I
And
keep
thanks to the
yawning.
power of Anime Night
And
on
two,
March
it doesn't
30th,
seem like anyone
after
is here.
152
Like, maybe there
eggs,
are
I hatched a very
workers?
strange looking Absol.
But I haven't looked at my viewer count at all, so I have no
I was
idea.
using the Masuda method, so I had a decent chance of hatching a shiny Absol,
wanna see
but I
that.
didn't expect for it to happen so
If you're in
soon.
chat, don't
I
be
decided I
afraid
would
to
keep
tell
this
me how
one rather
comfy
than
you are
trading
with
it,
the,
but I would
the
trade
comfy
out any
emotes.
future shinies I would find. Once I had a few more boxes of Absol to trade out, on April 2nd I set up my Pokedex tracker, and learned that I had 50 Pokemon in the National Dex so far. Then, I decided to stream to increase that number even more. And it was during this stream that I figured out my strategy for taking on the globe. The key to registering every point is just to focus on each individual point, one at a time. The idea is to sequentially work your way down the entire list of 630 points, trading at each individual point until you
Maybe
receive
I'll do,
something
like, a
from it.
Minecraft stream
And this is a good
later.
strategy whether you have a Twitch chat to
I'm
help you out or
feeling
not,
up to it.
because once you complete a
Bikini,
trade, the
not
game
shiny.
defaults to the last point that you received something from when you decide to start your next trade. Meaning that if you keep trading from the same point over and over again, even random strangers might end up trading from the point that you need. So in the bot command for the timer, I added the number for what point that I'm trading from, making coordinating this very easy. And I slowly began to conquer the globe, and the best possible prize for world domination is rare candies. But maybe I was taking my conquest too far, because it looked like a hero that was me from another universe with Bibarel as my favorite Pokemon was sent to stop me. Bibarel blogs. Bibarel blogs Roblox. But I was a force that couldn't be stopped. Couldn't be stopped from getting to 97 Pokemon in the Pokedex. And registering the first 40 points, bringing me to a grand total of 94 points so far on the map. That is, until a certain Meowth came along. Raising Cain! Getting this Meowth named Raising Cain made me really hungry.
Shout out to Meowth.
So I stopped streaming and I went and got food and I really enjoyed it.
Mood.
But I hate how easily influenced I was just by a Pokemon's
So I had
nickname.
a hamburger. for
I wasn't gonna
lunch.
let this cat hinder my progress though,
But now I
and
don't
I
know what
kept
to do for
hatching
dinner.
eggs over the course of the next few days.
I don't know what to drink because I had Mountain Dew with my lunch. But I really like having Mountain
On
Dew
April
with dinner.
4th, I hatched my
Bikini,
second
not
shiny Absol, and on April 5th, I got something important in the
So, I
mail.
don't know if
What
I'll
ski?
just have Mountain Dew
The ski
again,
taste test would have to wait
which is
until
not
Ski
healthy
Master
at
Nathan
all.
appeared in chat though.
or if
Lick it
I'll
tongue?
manage to have something else. Like maybe if I
100
can hold
points!
out long enough.
The games were still in a very unique state where they were cut off
I don't know
completely
what
from
I'm saying.
Pokemon Home, meaning nothing could be transferred in and everything I received had to have been caught within these games, making shiny trades very rare and feel all the more special when I got one. That's a shiny Pidgey, I'm pretty sure. That's gotta be shiny.
Oh, there's an ad break.
Chicken!
An ad break is
From-
I've been streaming for an hour.
Eventually, the Ski Master arrived. Nathan, I've been waiting for your arrival today. I've prepared a layout for this moment. I have Ski. I have bested the Ski Master. Well, actually, no, the Ski Master has bested me, and I totally gave in.
Ad break is over. Welcome
That's pretty
back,
good.
Everybody.
I like it. Then chat wanted me to
Kangaskhan, no
try
shiny, no
Skilk, which is
sparkle.
ski mixed with milk, and I don't think I'm gonna give in to that one. I just kept wonder trading. Stupid. Also during the night, I traded out the shiny Absol that I had hatched the day before. And I really hope the person who got it, who is not the person who sent me this Cherubi, most likely, really enjoys it. I ended the night with 139 points on the globe,
Maybe
and with
maybe I should have streamed
143
now.
in the
I'm
decks.
tired. I am fucking tired. Oh my god. I'm yawning, I'm tired, I'm not paying attention. So... Oh. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone here to be disappointed in me for not streaming for longer than an hour. So let's go ahead and find someone else doing Safari Week and right into them. I think I'll continue doing shiny hunts off stream. And maybe I'll do research into that RNG manipulation method that I mentioned. Like, maybe that would be fun to stream at some point. See, let me go over to here. Oh. Alright, let's raid. Let's find someone else doing Safari Week. Let's see what other people doing. Let's see. I am of the tired of the eepy. Gremlin. Maybe I can... I'll try it again. See if I can raid. Because it could have been like a mistake last time. Nope. I am unable to raid. He has raids turned off. Raids are turned off. Okay. Oh, someone else is going for Kangaskhan. That's good. Maybe I can... They're doing Safari Week and a cute charm glitch in order to get the shiny then. Yeah, I think I'll run into this person. Oh wow, they just got themselves a shiny purple Lapras. Is that even... Well, that isn't a Safari Zone. Ooh. Ooh, yeah, let's raid. Let's, nope, I can't raid into them either. Wow, I am... Oh god. I am not having a lot of luck when it comes to raiding with the shinies, huh? With a Safari Week. No one in Safari Week wants to be raided. Like, no one. Excuse me, hello? Maybe this guy right here will want to be raided. No, I can't. Do I have to be streaming for a certain amount of time in order to raid into someone? Is that a rule that I am unaware of? Can I raid someone, please? Thank God I can raid. Okay. Last encounter. I'm not even going to bother with a raid message because... Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Come on, let's get one more encounter in each game. One more encounter in each game. Just to see. Dratini, Kangaskhan, neither one of them shiny, neither one of them is sparkling. Come on, Platinum, give me something. And no shiny there either, okay. I don't know if I'll be streaming again today, or what I'll do, but I want to keep up with streaming like once a day for the entirety of Safari Week. So I will be streaming again tomorrow. But I'm definitely gonna wait till I have like energy in the day, you know? So that this doesn't happen again. Alright. I'll see you guys later. Sorry for the short stream. I'm eepy. Mata ne.